you are grieving. Even if you hide it behind a brave face or avoid the word, there's a shadow of grief trailing you everywhere. Not the brief surge of sadness from a poignant movie or a bad day, but a quiet, persistent sorrow that whispers, "It's all gone," in the back of your mind. It weighs on your chest at noon and wakes you again at 3 a.m. with tears in your eyes. It's woven into your thoughts, your routine, your very being, wearing many masks, whatever shape it takes. Losing a loved one, the end of a relationship, a shattered dream, or the person you used to be. Grief finds a way into every corner of your heart. And guess what? You're not alone. Look around, and you'll realize almost everyone carries their own grief behind their eyes and their polite smiles. Feeling grief doesn't mean you're broken or weak. It means you loved deeply. It means you're human. You didn't choose this pain. One day, life as you knew it had cracked. Someone or something precious was taken from you, and the world hasn't felt the same since. No one really taught you how to handle that kind of heartbreak. People might have offered condolences and cliches. Time heals all wounds. They're in a better place. But those words rang hollow when your soul was screaming in agony. They didn't show you how to sew your life back together with pieces missing. So you did what you had to do. You survived. Maybe you pushed the pain down and carried on because there were bills to pay, or others who depended on you to be okay. You put on a brave face in the daytime, saving your breakdowns for the silence of midnight. You held back tears around others because you didn't want to make them uncomfortable or seem weak. You tried to act normal, as if by denying the depth of your hurt you could pretend it away. But that strategy backfires. Every sorrow you swallow, every cry you stifle doesn't disappear. It collects in the quiet corners of your being. It's like trying to hold back an oncoming storm by closing your eyes. The storm still rages inside. The sky of your mind grows heavier, the pressure building with every unshed tear. Each time you refuse to face your grief, it only gains strength in the darkness. Each grief you bury finds its way out eventually, often when you least expect it. You hold it together at work, only to crumble when a familiar song plays in the store. Or you find yourself yelling in anger over something trivial, when deep down you're not angry at all, you're just hurting. Unfelt grief doesn't vanish. It leaks out through the cracks of your heart, sometimes as tears, sometimes as rage, sometimes as a numbness that scares you. As you avoid the pain, your world quietly shrinks around it. You tiptoe around memories in places that hurt like landmines. Maybe you stopped visiting that cafe you both loved, or skipped a family gathering because one chair would be empty. The things you used to enjoy feel booby-trapped with reminders. Your life becomes a careful, smaller version of what it was. A narrow path where you hope to dodge the pain, lurking in every corner. Sometimes you retreat into the past. You wander a labyrinth of memories, replaying moments as if you could find a way back. But you can't. And while you search those endless corridors of what was, the present waits for you, empty and silent. And still, the grief you carry doesn't lighten just because you pretend it's not there. It settles into your body and mind like a weight you can't set down. Maybe you feel it as an ache in your chest that never really goes away, or a heaviness in your limbs that makes getting out of bed a battle. It can disguise itself as constant exhaustion, irritability, or a fog that dulls everything. Living with that unspoken sorrow humming in the background of every day is utterly draining. Grief often tricks you into thinking it's all you have left of what you lost. It whispers that if you let go of the pain, you'll be letting go of the love, too. So you cling to your sorrow as proof that what you had was real. In a way, the pain becomes an altar where you honor what's missing. For a moment, immersing yourself in grief can feel like staying close to who or what you lost, as if your sadness keeps the bond alive. But what is that endless mourning costing you? Each time you refuse to let any light in, each time you shy away from a bit of laughter or push away a hand reaching out to help, you add another brick to the wall, separating you from the rest of life. Brick by brick, day by day, that wall grows higher. What started as a way to protect your wounded heart or to keep a sacred space for your loss has become a lonely fortress. Inside, it's just you and your pain. Maybe shutting down helped you endure the initial shock. Numbing out kept you functional when the loss was fresh and raw. But now, long after those early days, how much of your life are you missing by staying numb? Grief comes as a visitor when you lose something dear. It was never meant to take up permanent residence in your soul. When grief moves in and takes over every room in your heart, it stops being an act of love and starts being something that steals from you. Instead of preserving the memory of your loved one or what you lost, it begins to poison it with bitterness and endless sorrow. Instead of letting you heal, it keeps picking at the wound. A life ruled by grief is a life half-lived. Even moments of beauty are seen through a veil of tears. Grief is one of the oldest truths of humanity. Across time, people have tried to understand and soothe this pain. Some say that great sorrow carves out a deeper space in us for future joy, that the depth of your grief reflects the depth of the love you had. Others remind us that everything is impermanent, that every life by its nature must end, and every happiness will eventually fade. These ideas carry wisdom, but when you're drowning in grief, they can feel like distant stars in a cold night, visible but too far away to warm you. Even knowing that loss is part of life, your pain is still your pain. Grief thrives in isolation and silence. The more you lock it inside, the more it echoes and magnifies. If you keep your sorrow in the dark, it remains a formless monster. But when you dare to bring it into the light, even by just admitting, "I miss them, I'm hurting," its shape becomes clearer. It might not shrink immediately, but it becomes a little more human, a little less endless. Acknowledging your grief is like lighting a small candle in a pitch-black room. The darkness doesn't vanish, but it softens. You begin to see the contours of your sorrow instead of just feeling a terrifying, shapeless weight. Maybe you speak your loved one's name aloud, or tell a friend what you're really feeling. Maybe you write down your memories, or visit a grave and have a one-sided conversation. These small actions shine a light into that darkness. And in that light, you can start to see that while this pain is a part of you, it isn't all of you. Now, consider your own life. It's easy to say everyone experiences loss as a general truth, but it's much harder to face your personal grief head-on. Have you been avoiding it? Perhaps you fill every waking moment with work, errands, noise, anything so you don't have to be alone with your thoughts. Do you turn on the TV or scroll through your phone the second you feel loneliness creeping in, just to drown out the silence? Have you sidestepped conversations about your loss because you fear you might break down if you really start talking? Maybe you've boxed up all the photos and mementos because looking at them is both wonderful and unbearable. And you tell yourself it's better not to look at all. We all have our ways of sidestepping pain. Some throw themselves into their career or caring for others, trying to outrun the emptiness. Some seek comfort or numbness in food, alcohol, or endless distractions. Maybe you find yourself doing anything to escape. Binge-watching shows to keep your mind occupied, or sleeping more just so you don't have to be awake with your sorrow. These coping methods don't make you bad or weak. They show just how overwhelming grief can be, that you have to shield yourself however you can. Recognizing these patterns isn't about blaming yourself. It's about gently seeing how your grief has been steering your life. You are not weak or failing for grieving like this. You're human, dealing with profound pain the best way you know how. But now that you notice it, you have a chance to try a different path, little by little. Now that you see it, you can begin to pull grief out of the shadows instead of letting it quietly control you. Maybe, without realizing it, you've started to believe certain grim ideas deep down. I'll never be happy again. Nothing matters now. Or, I don't deserve to heal. It's not that you announce these thoughts to yourself. It's more like an undertow in your mind, a subtle current pulling at you beneath everything else. That belief might be steering you to avoid opportunities for joy, to isolate yourself, to punish yourself with loneliness. Because some part of you thinks that's all that's left or all you deserve. Grief has many disguises. It can look like anger at everyone and everything. You might snap at friends or family when they try to help, because deep down you're furious that the world dare continue when your world fell apart. It can look like guilt that weighs you down. Every day you're haunted by, if only I had done this, if only I had been there. It can even look like apathy. Days when you can't bring yourself to care about anything at all because caring hurts. These are all grief, wearing different masks to express the same pain. All these coping mechanisms might seem like they're keeping you afloat, but add them up and they form a life built around loss. And that life is smaller and colder than it could be. With grief constantly whispering in your ear, you might turn down chances to connect or to find a moment of happiness because you're so used to living in the shadows. Over time, you say no to life more than you say yes, all in the name of avoiding more pain. Think about choices you've made or chances you've refused since your loss, and the reasons you gave yourself. Perhaps you declined an invitation to a holiday dinner, telling yourself you just weren't up for it. And it's true, you weren't. But also, maybe you were afraid of breaking down in front of everyone, or of feeling the stark absence of the one who's gone. Or you avoided a new relationship or friendship, saying you need time alone, which is completely understandable. But also because part of you couldn't bear the thought of loving someone new and risking more pain. It's natural to justify these choices. They sound perfectly reasonable and give you a logical out. But strip them away, and more often than not, you'll find the raw grief underneath, quietly guiding your decisions. Grief can be persuasive like that. It tells you it's safer to stay in your cocoon of sadness than to step out and get hurt again. Wrapped in that heavy cloak of grief, you feel protected from new disappointments. It's strangely comforting in its familiarity, even as it hurts. You almost make a home out of it. A sad shelter where at least nothing surprises you because you expect nothing. But ask yourself, is this really safety or just solitude? Is it truly comfort or just the absence of hope? Real healing, real living, often asks us to step into uncertainty again. The voice that says, stay here in the dark, this is all there is now, is lying to you in a gentle, tragic way. It's keeping you in a narrow, dim room, when just outside there's still a whole world that, yes, includes pain, but also holds things worth living for. It's like you've locked yourself in a small, windowless room to hide from the storm outside. You think you're safe because nothing can hurt you in that room. No lightning, no gusts of wind. But in that safety, you also never feel the breeze or see the sun come out after the rain. The storm outside will pass, but if you never open the door, you'll never know. You'll remain a prisoner, missing the calm and the light that follow. After living in grief's shadow for so long, you might believe this is just who you are now. I'm just a sad person, you tell yourself, as if sorrow has permanently defined you. You see people around you laughing, planning, living as if the world isn't broken, and you feel like you live on a different planet from them. You're convinced that you'll never rejoin that world of the living, that your fate is to haunt your own life like a ghost, forever mourning. But that is not who you truly are. It's what your pain has made you feel like. You are not only your loss. Yes, you are someone who has loved deeply and lost deeply, and that will always be part of you. But you are also still the person who can love again, who can find beauty in a sunrise, who can be moved by a song, who can find purpose in helping another. Those parts of you might be buried, but they are not gone. They are patiently waiting for you to notice them again. The longer you dwell in the darkness, the more you forget those parts of yourself. Your comfort zone becomes a small circle, defined by what you've lost. Everything outside of it feels scary or pointless. The life you lived before seems like a story from another person. You become so accustomed to the pain that the idea of feeling anything else, joy, excitement, even peace, feels foreign or even guilty. Day by day, you unwittingly trade away bits of your future to appease the past. I'm not saying any of this to scold you. What you went through, what you're still going through, is immense. It has carved you deeply, and you have every right to feel changed. You will never be exactly the person you were before. That's true. But changed forever doesn't have to mean ruined forever. The cracks in your heart, painful as they are, can allow new understanding and compassion to enter. You might find that because you've been broken, you become more tender with others' brokenness. Your suffering can make you more human, not less. Take a hard, honest look at how tightly you've been holding onto your grief. Realize that you can honor the memory of what you lost without drowning in sorrow. It's like finally noticing the chains that have been wrapped around you. You don't break those chains by refusing to see them. You break them by understanding why they're there, and by deciding that maybe you no longer need to be bound in the same way. Recognizing how your grief has confined you is powerful. It's the first step to allowing yourself a different life, while still keeping your love intact. Admitting that you have to let go of some of the pain is scary. It might feel like a betrayal, as if by feeling even a little better, you're somehow forgetting the person or the past that you lost. But letting the wound start to close is not betrayal. Nothing, not a smile, not a new chapter, not even love again, can erase what they meant to you. Your love and memories won't vanish if you stop hurting every moment. In fact, allowing a bit of healing is a way of honoring. Ring them, because it means their impact on you was so deep that you can carry their love forward into something new. Maybe you've held on to your grief so tightly because it felt like the last piece of them you had. It's understandable you don't want to let go because that pain is made of love. But here's the gentle truth. You will never lose what they gave you, the ways they changed you, the love you carry. Those remain even as the sharpness of the pain slowly softens. You can let the grief soften, and still keep the essence of what you lost as part of you. Your sorrow is a testament to that love. But it doesn't need to be the only testament. All this time, you might have thought that being utterly heartbroken was how you keep the flame of memory burning. But the flame of your loved one's memory, the light of what you lost, doesn't live in your suffering. It lives in you. It lives in how you live on, in what you do with yourself now. If your grief has been like an anchor, maybe it's time to lift it a little, so you can drift towards something new. Not away from them, but forward with them in your heart, toward a horizon that they would have wanted for you, by letting grief dictate every moment. You've been unintentionally hurting yourself, and you matter too. You've been ignoring the part of you that is still alive, that still needs care and joy and purpose. That part of you has been starving for light and air, suffocated under the weight of grief. It's time to remember that your life too is precious. You survived for a reason, to live, not just to exist in sorrow. Think of what grief has stolen from you, even as you guarded your pain. The sunny afternoons you couldn't enjoy because you were lost in thoughts of what's gone. The laughter with friends you missed out on. The opportunities you turned down. All those moments of life that passed while you were staring at a door that's closed, longing for what was behind it. Those moments are gone now too, taken one by grief's demands. There are beautiful parts of you that have been in hiding. Your laugh that hasn't sounded in so long. Your adventurous spirit that used to love trying new things. Your open heart that, despite everything, still yearns to give and receive love. These parts of you have been there all along, quietly waiting. Each time you've said not now to life, they've dimmed a little more, thinking maybe they're not needed. But they are needed. They are part of you, and they are how you carry forward the love you lost. So what is the alternative to this life of endless mourning? It's not to forget. You will never forget. It's not to move on as if nothing happened. That's impossible, and it's not what you want anyway. The alternative is to carry your grief differently, to let it be one part of you, not the whole of you, to let it deepen you, not just break you. It means acknowledging you will always miss what's gone, but also recognizing that you are still here. And your story is not finished. Imagine opening the door of that dark room and stepping outside, carrying your grief with you like a companion rather than a captor. The grief may always cast a shadow, but now there's sunlight too. You might still have moments, quiet, private moments, when you cry, and that's okay. But those moments don't have to define every day. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your face, even with tears in your eyes. Life can be bittersweet, mixing sorrow and joy, and that's still a life worth living. Choosing to live doesn't mean your grief is gone. The waves of sadness will still come, but perhaps less frequently or with a bit less fury. And when they do, you'll ride them, knowing that they will pass, and that on the other side there is calm water. The ocean of your grief is vast, and you may never see its end, but you can learn to sail through it. You'll find islands of relief, moments of laughter, or peace you never thought you'd feel again. Over time, you might even find the courage to swim in that ocean, to immerse yourself in life fully, knowing that you carry your loss as part of you. So I'm challenging you now. Take one small step out into the world again. Find one thing that grief has been holding you back from, and try to gently reclaim it. Maybe it's calling a friend you drifted away from, or visiting a place you've avoided. Maybe it's as simple as stepping outside at dusk to watch the sky change colors. Something you haven't done in a long time. Think of one small way to say, I'm still here. I'm still alive. You don't have to be okay to take this step. You don't have to force a smile or push away your sadness. Just bring your grief with you and do it anyway. If your grief says, stay home, stay alone, see if you can open the door and step outside for a few minutes. If it says, don't talk about it, maybe call someone you trust and tell them you're not doing so well today. If it says, you'll only get hurt again, acknowledge that fear, and then do the gentle thing you need to do anyway. Show yourself that even with a broken heart, you can still walk forward, one small step at a time. It will be hard. You might feel a surge of pain or even guilt as you do these things. Guilt for feeling good for a moment, or fear that you're somehow leaving your loved one behind. Let those feelings come. They're a natural part of healing. Courage in grief isn't about not feeling pain. It's about feeling your pain and still living, still moving forward with it in your chest. Each time you face a day with your sorrow in tow, but your eyes open to whatever that day brings, you reclaim a piece of your life. Piece by piece, you let the world back in. You start to remember that the world still has beauty and that it's okay for you to experience it. You begin to see that your loved one, or whatever you lost, will always be a part of you, carved into your very being. And carrying them forward doesn't mean being sad forever. It means living in a way that honors the depth of that love. The truth is, grief may never completely leave you, because love never leaves you, but you will grow around it. Your capacity for pain will become your capacity for compassion. The space carved by sorrow will become space that can hold new meaning, new love, and new joys alongside the old. And though you may always carry the weight of grief, you will also carry the gift of love that caused it. That love is why you are still here and why life is still worth living.